My name is Bella. I'm 24 years old, and people say I talk too much. Maybe they're right, but I don't mind. I love talking. Talking makes everything more interesting. So one day, I was on a train heading back home. I had just visited my aunt in another town, and I was super excited to tell my family all my stories. I had a big bag with me. No, 2 big bags. One had clothes, and the other had snacks. You see, I love snacks. Chips, chocolates, cookies. Oh, you name it, I had it. As I got on the train, I noticed a man sitting quietly by the window. He looked sad, or maybe tired. I couldn't tell. He was wearing a simple shirt and jeans with a small bag on his lap. His hair was a bit messy, and he didn't seem very excited to be there. I thought, how can anyone look so serious on a train? I put my bags down with a loud thud, making him look at me. Oops, sorry, I said, grinning. But he just nodded and went back to looking out the window. Hi there, I said, sitting down beside him. I'm Bella. And you? The man looked at me, surprised. I'm Arjun, he replied quietly, as if he was a little scared of me. That was funny. Nice to meet you, Arjun, I said, smiling even bigger. So, where are you going? He looked out the window again, sighing. Just going back home. Ah, home is the best place, isn't it? I said. I was at my aunt's house, you know. I ate so many sweets there. Now I feel like a balloon. I puffed out my cheeks to show him, and guess what? He almost smiled. You talk a lot, don't you? He asked, raising his eyebrow. Of course I do, I laughed. What else are we supposed to do on a long train journey? Just sit and stare? Boring. Arjun gave a small smile, but I could see he was still a little serious. I thought, I have to make him laugh. I pulled out a pack of chips from my bag. Want some? I asked, waving it in front of him. No, thanks, he said politely. Oh, come on. You have to try these. They're my favorite. I pushed the chips into his hands. He finally took one, and I clapped happily like a child. You know, I think life is like a train journey, I said, munching on a chip. Sometimes we're happy, sometimes we're sad, but we just keep moving. Isn't that amazing? Arjun looked at me, a bit surprised. That actually makes sense, he said. See? I'm smarter than I look, I joked. And this time, he really laughed. A real laugh. His serious face changed, and suddenly he looked much friendlier. The train started moving faster, and I looked outside the window. The trees were passing by quickly. The sun was setting, and everything looked so beautiful. Look at that sunset, Arjun, I said, pointing outside. Isn't it beautiful? Like a big orange candy in the sky. He smiled again. You're really something, Bella, he said. You make everything sound so fun. Well, that's the secret of life, my friend. You just have to find the fun in everything, I replied proudly. We talked and talked for hours. told him all about my family, my dog, my favorite movies, and even my dreams. I didn't know why, but I felt like I could tell him anything. And the best part? He was actually listening. He was quiet, but he was listening. After a while, Arjun told me a little about himself too. He worked in a big city, but didn't feel very happy there. Life was too fast, too busy. He missed his small town, his family, and the quiet life. You know, Arjun, I said, looking at him seriously, sometimes we have to listen to our hearts. If your heart wants peace, maybe it's time to go find it. He nodded thoughtfully. You're right, Bella. I never thought of it like that. Just then, the train made a loud noise and came to a stop. We both looked out the window. What happened? I asked, worried. Oh no, I think we're stuck, said the train conductor, walking by. The train won't move for a few hours. I looked at Arjun, and he looked at me. Then I smiled. Well, looks like we're going to be here for a while. More time to talk. Arjun laughed. All right, Bella. Tell me more. I'm ready. And just like that, our train journey continued. But now, it didn't feel boring or lonely anymore. It felt like an adventure with a new friend by my side. The train was completely still. It was late now, and most people on the train were getting sleepy, but not me. I was too excited to sleep. I looked at Arjun, who was still sitting beside me, looking out the window again. Arjun, are you thinking serious thoughts again? I asked, pretending to look very serious myself. I puffed out my cheeks and crossed my arms, trying to copy his serious face. He burst out laughing, finally letting go of his worries. You know, Bella, you're like a storm. A happy storm, he said. Oh, thank you, I said proudly. A happy storm is better than a sad storm, right? He nodded, smiling. Just then, my stomach made a funny noise. Oops, I said, holding my belly. I think I'm hungry. Midnight snacks, anyone? I opened my bag and took out a sandwich. Want some? I asked, offering him half. He looked at me, surprised. You bring food everywhere, don't you? Of course. You never know when you'll get hungry. And food is always a good friend. I handed him the sandwich, and we both started eating. Suddenly, I had an idea. Arjun, let's explore the train. Let's go meet some people, make some friends. He looked a little nervous. Bella, it's late. Everyone's sleeping. So what? That's the best time. We'll be like ninjas, I said, whispering loudly. I pulled him up from his seat. Come on, adventure awaits. We started walking through the train, moving quietly like secret agents. I peeked into each compartment, making funny faces at anyone who was awake. Arjun tried to hold back his laughter, but I could see he was having fun. Then, we reached the dining car, and to our surprise, the staff was still awake, cleaning up. Hello, hello, I said, waving my hands. Do you have any tea for two tired travelers? The waiter smiled at us. Sure, miss. Have a seat. We sat down, and soon he brought us 2 cups of hot tea and a plate of cookies. Thank you so much, I said, taking a big sip. This is the best tea I've ever had, I told the waiter, who looked happy to hear it. Arjun took a sip too and smiled. It's pretty good, actually. As we drank our tea, I noticed a small guitar hanging on the wall. Arjun, look, a guitar. Do you play? I asked excitedly. He shook his head. No, but I know a few songs. Without thinking, I grabbed the guitar, strummed a few strings, badly of course, and started singing loudly. La 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 la, we're on a train, we're happy and free. Arjun covered his face, laughing, as if he was embarrassed, but he couldn't stop laughing. Bella, you're crazy, he said. Thank you. Crazy people have the most fun, I replied, winking at him. After finishing our tea and cookies, we decided to go back to our seats. As we walked through the train, I noticed an old lady sitting alone, looking a bit sad. Wait, Arjun, I whispered. Let's go talk to her. She looks lonely. He nodded, and we went over to her. Hello, ma'am, I said with a big smile. I'm Bella, and this is my friend, Arjun. Are you okay? The old lady looked at us, surprised, then smiled a little. Oh, I'm fine, dear. Just missing my grandson. He was supposed to visit me, but he couldn't come. I took her hand gently. Don't worry, ma'am. We're here with you. Right, Arjun? Arjun nodded, smiling kindly. Yes, ma'am. We'll keep you company. The lady's face lit up, and she started telling us stories about her grandson, who was studying in another country. She showed us his picture, and I could see the love in her eyes. Family is the best, isn't it? I said, feeling a bit emotional. Yes, my dear. Family is everything, she replied, patting my hand. After a while, we said goodbye to her and went back to our seats. I looked at Arjun, who seemed lost in thought. Are you thinking about family too? I asked softly. He nodded. Yes. I miss my mom and dad. I work so far away, and sometimes I feel alone. I placed a hand on his shoulder. Well, you're not alone now. You have a new friend, Bella the Happy Storm, I said, making him laugh again. Thank you, Bella. Really, he said, looking grateful. Just as we were getting comfortable, the train started moving again. I felt a rush of excitement. Woo-hoo! We're on our way, I cheered, making everyone around us look at me funny. But I didn't care. I was just too happy. As the train moved, I leaned back, feeling sleepy. Arjun, you better not fall asleep, okay? I might start talking in my sleep, I said with a yawn. He smiled and shook his head. Bella, even if you do, I don't think it would surprise me anymore. And with that, I slowly drifted off to sleep, dreaming of new adventures and funny moments yet to come. The morning sun started shining through the train window, waking me up. I stretched my arms and looked around, noticing that Arjun was already awake, watching the sunrise. "Good morning, Mr. Sirius," I said, smiling brightly. "Good morning, Bella," he replied, chuckling. "You look happy as always." "Well, why not? A new day, a new adventure," I said, clapping my hands together. Suddenly, I realized something important. "Oh no, where's my bag?" I looked around in panic, searching everywhere. My bag was gone. Arjun sat up straight. "Wait, Bella, don't worry. It must be here somewhere." We looked around, but my bag was nowhere to be found. "Oh no, my money, my phone, my snacks, all gone," I said, feeling nervous. "Maybe someone took it by mistake." "Let's go look for it," Arjun suggested calmly. We got up and started walking through the train, asking people if they had seen my bag. I was worried, but Arjun stayed calm, giving me hope. As we reached the next compartment, we saw a man holding my bag. He was an old man with a big mustache, looking confused. "Excuse me, sir, that's my bag," I said, pointing to it. The old man looked at me, then at the bag. "Oh, I thought it was my bag. I'm so sorry, dear," he said, smiling kindly and handing it back to me. "Oh, thank you so much, sir," I said, relieved. Arjun and I went back to our seats, and I hugged my bag tightly. Thank goodness. I feel like I found a long-lost friend. Arjun laughed. "Bella, you're very unique. I've never met anyone like you." "Why, thank you," I replied proudly, adjusting my scarf. As the train continued, we passed through beautiful green fields, rivers, and small villages. I leaned out of the window, enjoying the cool breeze on my face. "Arjun, isn't it amazing? Look at those mountains and those trees," I said, pointing outside with excitement. He looked outside and nodded, smiling softly. "Yes, Bella, it's beautiful." Suddenly, the train stopped at a small station. I jumped up, pulling Arjun by the arm. "Let's get off here for a bit." "Are you crazy? The train might leave without us," he said, looking worried. "Don't worry. We'll be quick," I said, already running towards the door. He had no choice but to follow me. We got off the train and started walking around the small station. There were vendors selling snacks, toys, and colorful trinkets. "Arjun, look, bangles," I said, running over to a stall full of shiny, colorful bangles. I tried on a few, showing them to him. "How do I look?" I asked, winking at him. "Like a kid in a candy shop," he replied, laughing. "Exactly. Life is short, Arjun. We should enjoy every little thing," I said, spinning around happily. Just then, we heard the train whistle. "Oh, the train is leaving," I shouted, panicking. We looked at each other for a second, then started running back to the train as fast as we could. The train was already moving slowly, so I grabbed Arjun's hand and shouted, "Come on, let's jump on." He looked scared, but I pulled him along, and together we jumped back onto the train, laughing breathlessly. "You're unbelievable, Bella," he said, shaking his head, but smiling. Back in our seats, I was still giggling. "See? Now we have a fun story to tell." Arjun looked at me thoughtfully. "Bella, do you always do things like this? Taking risks, trying new things?" I shrugged. "Life is an adventure, Arjun. Why stay safe and boring? Sometimes you need to be brave, take chances, and just go with the flow." He nodded slowly, as if thinking deeply. "Maybe you're right. Maybe I've been too careful all my life." I looked at him, curious. "Why are you so serious, Arjun? Don't you like having fun?" He sighed. "It's not that. I guess I've always focused on work, being responsible, making my family proud. I forgot to just enjoy life." I placed my hand on his shoulder. "Well, Mr. Serious, maybe this trip is your chance to learn. And I, Bella, am your teacher," I said, grinning. He laughed, a real, happy laugh. "All right, teacher, show me how to live life." The train stopped again, and this time, a big, loud family got on. They had kids, parents, grandparents, all laughing and talking loudly. One of the little boys sat beside me and started asking a lot of questions. "Auntie, what's your name? Where are you going? Why are you so happy?" he asked in a cute voice. I laughed and answered all his questions. "My name is Bella. I'm going somewhere exciting, and I'm happy because life is amazing." The boy laughed and showed me his toy train. I played with him, making train noises, which made everyone around us smile. Arjun watched me, surprised. "You really know how to make people happy, Bella." "Well, Arjun, happiness is free. Why not share it?" I said, giving him a playful nudge. As the day went on, we continued talking, laughing, and sharing snacks. I told him stories about my childhood, about my dreams, about silly things I had done. He listened, smiling, and even shared a few stories of his own. The sun was setting, and the sky turned orange and pink. We both looked out the window, watching the beautiful view. "Bella," he said softly, "thank you for being you." I smiled, feeling a warm glow in my heart. "Arjun, thank you for being my friend. This journey is one I'll never forget." As the train rolled on, I felt a deep bond forming between us, a friendship that felt special and real. After hours on the train together, the day was slowly turning into night. Arjun and I were laughing about something silly when the train pulled into a big, bustling station. This was Arjun's stop. He looked at me, hesitating. "Bella, this is where I get off," he said quietly. "Oh," I replied, feeling a strange heaviness in my chest. I didn't know why, but the thought of saying goodbye to him made me sad. I forced a smile and said, "Well, you better go then. Don't want you missing your stop." Arjun picked up his bag, but he didn't move. "Bella, Come with me. I looked at him, surprised. What? Why? Come with me, just for a little while, he said, his eyes filled with warmth and hope. You've shown me a new side of life. Maybe I can show you something too. I felt a spark of excitement mixed with nervousness. But looking into Arjun's kind eyes, I felt safe. All right, Arjun, let's go. I grabbed my bag, and together we stepped off the train, blending into the crowd at the busy station. Arjun led me to a small town nearby, filled with cozy houses and beautiful gardens. The night was cool, and the stars were twinkling brightly above us. Over the next few days, Arjun showed me around his town. We walked through colorful markets, tried delicious street food, and even danced to music playing in the square. Each day, I felt closer to him, and each moment was filled with laughter and joy. One day, we visited a quiet lake surrounded by trees. Arjun and I sat on a bench, watching the water ripple gently. Bella, he said softly, I never knew life could be this beautiful. Life is beautiful, Arjun. You just have to let it be, I replied, smiling. He took a deep breath, looking nervous. Bella, I've realized something. Meeting you has changed me. You've shown me how to be brave, how to enjoy every moment, and I think I'm falling for you. My heart raced as he spoke. I looked down, blushing. Arjun, I think I feel the same way. He reached out, gently holding my hand. It was a simple moment, but it felt perfect. For the first time, I felt like I was exactly where I was meant to be. A few weeks passed, and I started to feel restless again. Arjun, I said one morning, I need to keep moving, to keep exploring. He looked sad, but nodded. I understand, Bella. You have a free spirit. That's one of the things I love about you. I looked at him, an idea forming in my mind. Then come with me, Arjun. Let's see the world together. He smiled, a spark of excitement in his eyes. Are you sure? This time, it's a big decision. Yes, I'm sure, I said, laughing. Life is short, and I want to spend it with you. So, we packed our bags and set off on a new journey, this time together. We traveled to beautiful cities, explored mountains and beaches, and even got lost a few times. But every day was filled with happiness, laughter, and love. One night, we were sitting under a starry sky, watching the moon reflect on a quiet river. Arjun turned to me, holding my hand. Bella, I never thought I would say this, but I don't want this journey to end. Will you be my partner forever? I felt tears in my eyes as I nodded. Yes, Arjun, forever. He smiled, wiping away my tears. No matter where we go, no matter what happens, we'll face it together. And with that simple promise, we sealed our love under the stars. Bella and Arjun continued their journey, hand in hand, heart to heart. They built a life filled with adventure, kindness, and endless laughter. They faced ups and downs, but with each other's support, they always found joy in every moment. Bella had found someone who could love her free spirit, and Arjun had found someone who could bring light into his serious world. Together, they created their own little world, one filled with love and happiness. As they grew older, they would often look back on that first train ride, laughing at how one simple journey had changed their lives forever.